Hello guys, welcome back to Empower Tutorials. This is your master teacher, Dr. Sonam. Yes guys, how's everyone doing? What have we started? Yes, we've begun with human physiology. Like I told you all, this is something really interesting as compared to the plant physiology that we are studying. So I'm definitely sure that you all are going to enjoy this part of our lectures or our sessions. So kids, don't miss out on any session, because I really don't want you all to miss out on any part, because how it is, every part is going to be interlinked to each other. Okay. So now in the human physiology, we have begun with the circulatory system. Okay. In that we have covered, in our first session, we have covered few things like what is blood, what are the different fluids, what are what is hemoglobin. Then we covered about all the different types of cells present, what are the functions of blood. We saw that there are three types of cells: the RBCs, the WBCs, and the platelets. So how do these cells help us? What kind of cells these are? Then we also saw that there are five types of WBCs. So in a gist, we have seen what basically blood is and what are the different types of the components of blood. Okay, so now going ahead to the second session of the circulatory system, let's see what we have in store for us today. Okay, so the first step toward greatness is to be honest. Okay, so all these big people whom we consider the great of all times, what do you think? I mean, how did they reach till there? By by doing what kind of things? The basics, children, trust me, the basics to everything is to be honest. It could be anything to do with your education. It could be anything to do with your family, your friends, your relatives, your relationships. Everything in life comes from honesty, begins from honesty, and trust me, honesty should be the basis of any relation. Now, the relation could be your personal relations, or also they could be your professional, your working relations with your managers, with your bosses, with your teachers, with your seniors, with your juniors. Every kind of relation uh, is, it remains that bonded because of the honesty you keep in it. And be honest in everything that you do. Okay, so just remember, honesty is the key to success, to greatness, to everything. We've studied this, like, since our lower classes. Honesty is the best policy. Trust me, it is the best policy. Okay guys, chalo, let's go ahead. Okay, like I told you all in the towards the end of my first session, I told you all that we will be studying about what is clotting. Okay, so in the functions of blood, we saw that blood plays a very important role in the process of clotting. So now what exactly is clotting? Okay, clotting, just remember, is also known as coagulation. Okay, what do you see in this picture? I mean, what can you make out from this picture? ये जो red दिख रहे हैं, this, as we have studied in our previous session, these are the RBCs, right? The biconcave type of cells, the disc-like cells, which are flat in the periphery, which are flat in the center and bulging towards the periphery, correct? So accumulation हो रहा है यहाँ पे. You can see a bunch of these cells coming together, and उसके ऊपर ये white आपको जो दिख रहा है, what do you think that is? Yes, it is fiber. Okay, now from where this fiber is coming and why these cells have accumulated, let's have a look. Okay, what is clotting? Now, whenever there is a cut in the tissue, bleeding occurs, right? Whenever we have any injury or we have a cut, there is bleeding. The process of tissue repair or healing of the wound occurs due to clotting. ठीक है, हमारा एक्सीडेंट हो गया, हम कहीं गिर गए, that wound which happens to us, वो over a period of time heal हो जाता है अपने आप, right? तो वो जो process होता है ना उसके healing का, that is nothing but clotting, or you can call it coagulation. Okay. Now, yes, clotting is also known as coagulation. Now, what are the different steps that happen in coagulation? Let's see that. The injured cells release an enzyme called thrombokinase. Okay, they release an enzyme called thrombokinase, which then, this we have studied last time, right? And injured cells are releasing an enzyme called thrombokinase, which then combines with the calcium ions to form prothrombin, which is then converted to thrombin. ठीक है, थ्रोम्बोकाइनेज एंजाइम रिलीज हो रहा है. जो इंजर्ड सेल्स हो गए हैं, जहाँ पे हमारा कुछ वुंड हो गया है, वो जो इंजर्ड सेल्स है, दे आर रिलीजिंग एन एंजाइम व्हिच इज नोन एज थ्रोम्बोकाइनेज. एंड we've studied, right, ASE जहाँ पे भी end में आता है, so that is the suffix that we usually give to enzymes. Okay, so with that you can say that it is an enzyme. Okay, so this thrombokinase is going to then combine with the calcium ions in its surroundings or in the tissues to form something known as prothrombin, which is then converted to thrombin. Now, whenever you have such terms, now prothrombin and thrombin, so prothrombin is known as the precursor of thrombin. Okay? So just remember, thrombokinase combines with calcium to release prothrombin, and then prothrombin gets converted to thrombin. This is the first step. उसके बाद क्या होता है, हमने क्या पढ़ा है, वी स्टडीड इन अ फर्स्ट सेशन प्लाज्मा में क्या क्या होता है, वाटर होता है, ऑर्गेनिक इनऑर्गेनिक सॉल्ट्स होते हैं एंड प्रोटीन्स होते हैं, आउट ऑफ विच वी स्टडीड द प्रोटीन अबाउट फाइब्रोजन, करेक्ट. सो नाउ ये जो थ्रोम्बिन है अपने पास, ये थ्रोम्बिन कंबाइन करता है विद दैट फाइब्रिनोजेन व्हिच इज प्रेजेंट इन द प्लाज्मा टू फॉर्म फाइब्रिन. ठीक है, थ्रोम्बिन, प्रोथ्रोम्बिन से थ्रोम्बिन मिला हमको, देन ये थ्रोम्बिन connects with the fibrinogen of the plasma and it forms fibrin. ठीक है, अब fibrin क्या है? Fibrin is the thread-like mesh in which the blood cells are trapped, causing clotting. Okay, so the जो हमने previous picture में देखा, blood cells एक साथ accumulate हो गए हैं और उसके ऊपर fiber आ गया है. So that fiber जो है, that is nothing but the fibrin. Fibrin तक हमारा जो step by step process है वो हमने अभी देखा. फाइब्रिन सारे वो सेल्स को अपने अंदर ट्रैप करता है बिकॉज इट इज अ मैश, इट इज अ फाइबर मैश कॉजिंग क्लॉटिंग. इट देन फॉर्म्स अ सॉलिड मास नोन एज अ क्लॉट और थ्रोम्बस. ठीक है, तो वो हमने जो देखा ना प्रीवियस पिक्चर में, दैट एक्यूमुलेशन, दैट इज नथिंग बट अ क्लॉट और अ थ्रोम्बस. Okay, see, this is just in short, we saw it in the form of sentences. Here it's given in the form of reactions. Main reactions in blood clotting, injured platelet or tissue cells will release thromboplastin. Now kids, remember these different names for thromboplastin, okay? So there is thromboplastin is also known as thrombokinase, which we just saw. It is also known as factor 10 or it is also known as Stewart factor. Okay, just remember these names, factor 10, Stewart factor, thrombokinase or thromboplastin. ठीक है? Next, now ये thromboplastin के presence में prothrombin is getting converted to thrombin also with the help of calcium ions. ठीक है? Then this thrombin के presence में again the fibrinogen is getting converted to fibrin and it is forming a mesh or a thread-like network. ठीक है, जिसमें RBCs trap हो जाते हैं. So we have blood में cells होते हैं और plasma होता है, correct? Corpuscles are cells. Then plasma में what we saw, fibrin होता है और serum होता है. What we saw, what is serum? Serum is plasma minus fibrinogen, correct? So that is serum. So corpuscles, when they combine with this fibrin of the plasma, it forms a clot. Okay, got this? Is this clear? See in this picture, you will clearly see. देखो ये RBCs है, यहाँ पे कहीं तो tissue injury हुआ होगा. ठीक है, ये blood vessel है, and these cells have got trapped in this thread-like or mesh-like network, which is the fibrin. ये धीरे-धीरे heal हो जाता है अपने आप, and then it forms that clot or a thrombus over there. Okay, चलो continue. ठीक है, is everybody clear with what is blood clotting or coagulation? Okay, going ahead. Next thing that we are going to study about or know about is blood transfusion or blood grouping. ठीक है, blood, what is blood transfusion or what is blood grouping? ठीक है, now we've always heard about these terms, you know, let's donate blood. अच्छा, blood donation का कोई camp लगा है, या you know, hospitals में, many places, you know, movies, serials, everywhere we have seen this rush of, you know, we want A positive blood, we want B positive blood. तो लोग ब्लड डोनेट करते हैं, लोगों की बड़े बड़े एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं, इंजरीज होती है लोगों को, सो पीपल डोनेट ब्लड, राइट? we've like come across these things very regularly. So today we will be seeing what exactly blood transfusion is and what is the importance or why is this blood grouping done. Okay, yes, in patients undergoing surgery, it becomes necessary to inject blood externally. This process is called as blood transfusion. Now what happens now when people have accidents or something kind of that, they lose a lot of blood. Okay, a lot of blood is lost. So what happens, it becomes really important इनका blood clotting हो, जो उनका bleeding हो रहा है वो stop हो, blood clots बने, and you know their wounds start healing. उसके लिए the doctors need more blood. So then from where do they get these blood? Then they get these blood from the blood banks. Blood banks में blood कहाँ से आता है? ये जो donation camps होते हैं, people keep donating blood. So then they have this blood stored. So then which blood group blood is needed, accordingly the blood banks will give the blood. Okay, so that is nothing but blood donation that we have usually seen. And the process of transferring blood to any patient externally is known as blood transfusion. Okay, are we clear with this? Now blood is taken from a healthy person called the donor. Now I am donating blood, so I become the donor. अभी जो blood receive कर रहा है, that will become the recipient. Okay, so there is a donor and there is a recipient. Now donor और recipient दोनों का blood compatible होना चाहिए. मतलब anybody cannot give blood to anybody. ऐसा है. Now किसका क्या blood group है, कौन किसको blood दे सकता है, depends on the blood grouping systems. Okay, so far what we know about are two blood grouping systems. One is the RH system and the other one is the ABO system. Okay, now let's see the blood groups and their compatibility. Okay, now first we are seeing the ABO system. Okay, अभी ABO system में क्या होता है? Our blood has antigens. Okay, it has antigen A, antigen B. Okay, it has antigen A and antigen B. So ब्लड ग्रुप्स जिनके ब्लड में, जिनके आरबीसीज में एंटीजन ए होता है, नाउ दिस इज अकॉर्डिंग टू द एबीओ सिस्टम. ओके, जिनके ब्लड में एंटीजन ए होता है उनका ब्लड ग्रुप ए होता है, जिनके ब्लड में एंटीजन बी होता है उनका ब्लड ग्रुप बी होता है. पीपल विद बोथ द एंटीजेंस ए एंड बी, उनका ब्लड ग्रुप ए बी होता है. एंड व्हेन देयर इज नो एंटीजन प्रेजेंट, देन योर ब्लड ग्रुप बिकम्स ओ. ठीक है, सो बेसिकली द फोर मेजर ब्लड ग्रुप्स आर ए, B, AB and O. Now these are the antigens. अभी एंटीजन का कंपार्टमेंट कॉम्बिनेशन कंपैरिजन वाला पार्ट क्या है? एंटीबॉडीज, राइट? सो जिसको एंटीजन A होता है उसका एंटीबॉडी B होता है, जिसका एंटीजन B होता है उसका एंटीबॉडी A होता है. When both A and B antigens are present, then they don't have any antibodies. ठीक है, and when they don't have any antigens, that is the blood group is O, that time they have both the antibodies of A and B. ठीक है, just remember this chart, really easy. एंटीजन तो वही है जो ब्लड ग्रुप है, ए बी में दोनों आएंगे, ओ में कुछ नहीं आएगा. एंड एंटीजेंस का एग्जैक्टली ऑपोजिट विल हैपन इन द एंटीबॉडीज. ठीक है, नाउ दिस एबीओ सिस्टम वाज गिवन बाय द साइंटिस्ट कार्ल लैंडस्टीनर. ठीक है, जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस इज अबाउट द एबीओ सिस्टम. नाउ ये AB ABO सिस्टम के हमने ब्लड ग्रुप्स देख लिए. नाउ वी विल सी इन दिस चार्ट हु कैन गिव ब्लड टू whom. ओके, नाउ सी, remember two important things here in the ABO system. Blood group O is known as the universal donor. यूनिवर्सल डोनर, ब्लड ग्रुप O. ठीक है, मतलब क्या? ब्लड ग्रुप O वाला इंसान किसी को भी ब्लड दे सकता है, किसी को भी ब्लड दे सकता है, because he is a universal donor. Okay, so he can give away blood. So see, if you see in this chart, this is the donor का column and this is the recipient. Okay, now see, O is a universal donor. He is giving blood to everyone, to A, to B, to AB and to O. ठीक है, so O is a universal donor. O वाले का ब्लड किसी को भी चल सकता है. ठीक है, and blood group AB वाले is the universal recipient. मतलब they can receive blood from anyone. O cannot receive blood from anyone. Okay, O can only donate to everyone, but AB can receive. Now see, AB के, ये देखो, AB के डोनेशन वाले कॉलम में टिक टिक नहीं है, AB के रेसिपिएंट वाले कॉलम में हर जगह पे टिक है, because they can receive from everyone. And O के डोनर वाले कॉलम में टिक है, O के रेसिपिएंट वाले कॉलम में टिक नहीं है, everywhere. ठीक है, get these two things clear. AB is the universal recipient, O is the universal donor. ठीक है, ना सी, ये जो A है, A वाला इंसान सिर्फ A वाले को ही ब्लड दे सकता है और AB वाले को दे सकता है, बिकॉज A या AB दोनों में एंटीजन A होता है. सेम इज विद B, B वाला भी या तो B को दे सकता है या तो AB को दे सकता है. ठीक है, अभी जो AB वाला है उसके इसमें एंटीजन A और B दोनों है, सो ही कैन गिव ओनली टू AB. ठीक है, सी यू विल से इसमें A एंटीजन भी है तो ये A को क्यों नहीं दे सकता है? ये A को इसलिए नहीं दे सकता है बिकॉज इसके अंदर एंटीजन B भी है, which is not compatible with A. Same thing goes with B. Okay, so that is why AB can give blood only to the AB blood group wala person. Okay, and O again we saw as it is a universal donor, it can give blood to anyone. Okay, are we clear with these things? Okay. Okay, now coming to the next system, that is the RH system. And now RH system is known as the rhesus system. Okay, RHESUS. Okay, rhesus. Now rhesus means what? Rhesus was our ancestor, that is a monkey. Okay, so this RH system was first observed in a monkey, and that is how it came into existence. So RH system में क्या होता है? There is a RH factor or a rhesus factor which is present in our blood. So if it is present in your blood, you are RH positive. If it is not present in your blood, you are RH negative. ठीक है? Are you clear with these things? अगर RH factor है, so you are RH positive. अगर RH factor नहीं है, so you are RH negative. ठीक है? Now, positive or negative first observed in a monkey. Okay, now what happens? Suppose you are RH negative, I am RH positive. ठीक है? I am giving you my blood. ठीक है? RH negative वाले को जब RH positive वाले का blood मिलता है, that transfusion takes place nicely, it happens normally. But आपके पास पहले नहीं था RH factor, ठीक है? अभी transfusion के बाद आ गया है. So now your blood will develop certain antibodies for that RH factor. ठीक है? Antibodies develop होती है आपके body में for the RH factor, because earlier you didn't have it, you were RH negative, but now after transfusion you have got it. ठीक है? So antibodies are formed. Now second time अगर वापस आप किसी से RH positive blood लेते हो, so these antibodies which are formed in your body can cause any kind of reactions. Okay, can cause any kind of serious reactions. The transfusion may not be smooth, and sometimes बहुत सारे cases में this kind of second transfusion is considered to be fatal as well. Okay, this happens because of the formation of antibodies during the first transfusion. ठीक है? Sensitive हो जाता है अंदर का blood factor या अंदर के antibodies due to the second transfusion. ठीक है? So now इसका बहुत negative effect is observed in pregnancies. ठीक है? Now if the pregnant lady is RH negative, she has received blood from somebody which is RH positive, she has developed antibodies. ठीक है? She has given birth to a child also, and the child is all normal and everything is fine. Or rather, if she's not, even if she's not receiving blood from anywhere, if she is RH negative, but her husband is RH positive, even if her husband is RH positive, the first baby जो होगा, that will be pretty much normal. ठीक है? जैसा we have seen in transfusions also it's happening. First transfusion normal होता है, तो यहाँ पे भी post pregnancy, the first delivery or the first baby, all everything is going to be normal. ठीक है? उसके बाद antibodies बन जाएगी women के अंदर. But during the second time, during second pregnancy or during second delivery, there are definitely going to be complications, because the woman inside, the blood inside or the antibodies which are formed inside are completely sensitive to anything new coming towards you. Okay, so second time when again there is that reaction of the RH positive and the antibodies which have formed in your body, there are going to be complications. In the second delivery, the baby, probably there might not be a proper delivery. It could lead to abortion, it could lead to miscarriage, or even if the birth of the baby has been established, it could still be fatal for the mother as well as for the baby. Okay, so just keep this in mind. RH system, for the first time transfusion, everything is going to be fine. After that, antibodies are going to develop, and after that, if there is any kind of such reaction happening again, it is going to lead to fatal complications. Okay, are we clear with this? Okay. Now, the last part of what we are going to see in today's session is about blood vessels. ठीक है? हमने first session में भी मैंने आपसे discuss किया था. Blood is just not present in our body. Our body is just not a hollow kind of a vessel जिसके अंदर पूरा blood dumped है. No, there are certain different kinds of vessels in our body in which the blood is contained. Okay. Now again, this I explained to you all earlier also. Artery red दिखाते हैं हम, vein blue दिखाते हैं. That does not mean that the blood in the veins is blue. No, The blood in the arteries is bright red and the blood in the veins is dark red. Okay? So here this is the artery, this is the vein, and these small tiny wire-like vessels that you see are known as the capillaries. Okay? Chalo, now we will see them one by one. First one, type of blood vessels. Okay, so the first one that we are seeing is artery. Okay, what is the artery? Artery is the organ which carries blood towards the organ away from the heart. Away from the heart means what? Heart में जो blood contained है वो artery carry करेगा, heart से लेकर निकाल के heart से दूर लेके बाकी सारे organs को supply करेगा. That is the work of the artery. Remember, artery takes it away from the heart. Artery is going to have thick muscular walls. Okay, it will have thick muscular walls. It will have a narrow lumen. And it plays a role in ventricular contractions. Now, what are ventricular contractions? You all will come to know slowly, probably in our next session. For now, just remember, artery plays a role in ventricular contractions. Okay. Now, coming to the vein. Vein is exactly opposite of what artery is. Vein carries the blood towards the heart, away from the organs. उल्टा. Artery heart से दूर लेके जाता है. Vein heart के पास लेके आता है blood को. Vein has thin walls, wide lumen, like I'm saying, exactly opposite things. See, I'll just show you how exactly it is. ये देखो, artery का कैसा होता है? ये lumen होगा artery का, और बाहर का जो part होगा ना artery का, that is going to be like huge. Now, artery is somewhat like this. It has a narrow lumen. The walls are going to be thick. ठीक है? और vein कैसा होता है? वेन का ये ल्यूमेन बड़ा होता है और बाहर की जो वॉल होती है ना वो बहुत थिन होती है. ओके, दिस इज गोइंग टू बी द वेन. सो दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन आर्टरी एंड अ वेन. आर्टरी का ल्यूमेन देखो कैसा है और वेन का ल्यूमेन देखो कैसा है. ठीक है, गॉट इट? इज दिस क्लियर? ओके. नाउ वेन्स आर गोइंग टू कंसिस्ट ऑफ थिन पॉकेट शेप्ड walls that prevent the backflow of blood. Now, what are walls? Again, you all will see in the next session. For now, just remember, walls are going to play the important function of preventing the backflow of blood. Okay? Next, now what are capillaries? देखो यहाँ, as you see in the figure, this is the artery, this is the vein, and these thin ones are the capillaries. Very narrow and thin vessels, about 8 micrometers in diameter, which is very small. It just has a single layer of squamous epithelium cells and there are no muscles which are present. Okay, that is it about the capillaries. Now, arteries and veins. Okay, we'll be seeing the distinguish between arteries and veins. Kids, this is really important. ये exam में आ सकता है, आपके MCQ pattern में भी आ सकता है. So just keep this in mind. Okay, now let's begin with the definition. This is the artery, this is the vein. Blood vessel which carry blood away from the heart into an organ, we just saw, and blood vessels which carry blood away from the organ towards the heart. This is the vein. अभी structure कैसा है? It is progressively branched, decreasing in size, and this is progressively united, increasing in size. ठीक है, ये इनका bunch एक साथ होता है, ये ज्यादा branched होते हैं. Smallest artery will break down into arterioles, and the smallest vein will arise from the venules. Okay, you have to keep this in mind. ये और detail में हम पढ़ेंगे जब हम heart का structure study करेंगे. Okay. Okay, now the artery is going to have thick and more muscular walls. Veins will have thin and less muscular walls. The walls of the artery are elastic. Walls of the veins are non-elastic. Arteries will have a narrow lumen. Veins will have a wide lumen, like we just saw. Arteries will have no walls, and veins, we just saw, they have walls in the inner lining to prevent the backflow of blood. Okay. Yes. Now the arteries can constrict or dilate to control the blood flow, and veins cannot be constricted. Now veins are already so thin. How can they constrict more? Right? So just keep it that way in your mind. Now arteries constrict or dilate means what? Constriction, dilation. Constriction, dilation. Okay. This movement is known as constriction, dilation. Okay. Arteries are deeper placed and veins are more superficial. ये यहाँ पे you see, you know, these blue color vessels that you see here. यहाँ पे blue color के vessels दिखते हैं. बहुत लोगों के veins visible होते हैं. The blue color this thing that you can see the vessels. So the veins are superficial. We can actually see the veins, okay, near the skin. And people who are very fair now, unka to bahut clearly dikhta hai. And arteries are very deeper placed, like inside of the muscles they are placed. Okay, the arteries do not collapse when they are empty, whereas the veins will collapse when they are empty. Okay, arteries will carry fully oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery. Oxygenated blood means what? Pure blood. Okay, arteries will carry the pure blood except the pulmonary artery. Remember this exception. This is very important for your MCQs. Now veins will carry partially deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated is deprived of oxygen, and impure blood. They will carry partially deoxygenated and carbon dioxide laden blood except the pulmonary vein. Okay, pulmonary artery and pulmonary vein are exceptions. Artery में blood flows with jerks and under great pressure. Now just imagine a pipe which is this big or this thick. उसके अंदर water move हो सकता है, right? So it will flow with jerk, with pressure, right? बड़ा vessel है वो, right? Whereas in veins इतना सा वो vessel है, उसके अंदर पानी कहाँ हिलेगा? What movement will it cause? So the flow of water in the veins is continuous and very little pressure, and it is smooth. Okay. Okay, just have a look at this. Look at this, the artery, and this is the vein. ये layers हैं arteries और veins के. See, इसका lumen देखो और इसका lumen देखो. How small is this and how big is this? Look at the linings. Look at the artery linings and look at the vein linings, how they are. Correct? Look at the heart pumping blood. Got it? Understood? Yes. Okay. Going ahead. Functions of capillaries. See guys, look at this. How beautiful this picture is. ये जो thin vessels है ना, ये सारे capillaries होते हैं. ठीक है? These thin vessels over here are the capillaries. Okay, now what are the functions of capillaries? To allow outward diffusion of oxygen into the intercellular fluid from there into the tissue cells. Correct? Capillaries thin होते हैं, right? तो उनके through oxygen का diffusion usually होता है in the intercellular fluid. Cells के अंदर जो fluid रहता है, उसके अंदर या दो cells के बीच में जो fluid रहता है, with that the diffusion of oxygen happens, and then from there it goes inside the tissue cells. Then it allows the inward diffusion of CO2, outward diffusion of O2, inward diffusion of CO2. Then it allows inward and outward diffusion of substances like glucose, amino acids, urea, hormones, etc. Now look at the size of the vessel and look at the functions that it is doing. Okay, you understand how important, how minute things are doing such big things in our body. We don't even realize what all is going on in our body, right? So inward and outward diffusion होता है सारे substances का, glucose, amino acid, urea, hormones, etc. And they also allow the WBCs to squeeze out through the capillary walls by means of the amoeboid movement, right? We have seen this process of WBCs also known as diapedicus, how they squeeze out, right? So these capillaries help them to squeeze out by the amoeboid movement. Capillaries also have the power of vasodilation and vasoconstriction. Vaso means vessel, like we said, dilation and constriction होता है capillaries में भी. Okay, which respectively increases or decreases the blood supply to the parts. Evidence of these changes in the capillaries is seen in the color of the skin. Okay, now when you go out in the sun and when you come back now, you will see a slight change in your color. That happens because जो arteries है हमारी, जो superficial capillaries है हमारी, not the arteries, sorry, the capillaries, all the capillaries which are there, उनके अंदर का blood flow में vasodilation and vasoconstriction continuously होते रहते हैं, because of which we see a change in the color. Okay, are we clear with what are the functions of capillaries? Yes. So with that we come to end of session 2, in which we have seen about the blood vessels, the capillaries, the veins, the arteries. Then we saw the blood grouping systems, that is the RH system and the ABO system. Then previously, what else did we see in today's session? What is clotting? What is coagulation? So thrombokinase की help से prothrombin gets converted to thrombin. Then thrombin की help से fibrinogen is getting converted to fibrin. And fibrin is nothing but the mesh-like network which is being formed, जिसके अंदर हमारे RBCs trap हो जाते हैं and it forms a clot. ठीक है? Yes, guys, are we clear with these basic things? Now the next session is the most important part of this chapter. That is
the reason why we are all alive today. Yes, we are going to talk about the heart in our next session. Okay, so guys, stay tuned. Do like and subscribe the channel, and be posted, be updated with all the videos that are there. And I'll see you all next class. Bye bye.